Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video. I'm so excited because I get the honor of sitting down with my friend Scott Donnell, Wall Street Journal bestselling author of the book Value Creation Kid and co-founder of the new revolutionary app helping kids to increase financial literacy, Gravy Stack. We do an amazing interview and Scott shares some incredible knowledge to help increase financial literacy for your family. I hope you enjoy it. Honored and excited to have Scott Donnell joined me this morning. He's become a great friend of mine. In fact, I heard him speak at a mastermind over the summer where it was just absolutely mind-blowing. I went right up to him. I said, not only do I want my two daughters to be a part of what you're creating, but I want to share this message with people. And we have a ton that we could talk about, probably 2-3 hours worth. But what we want to do is take like 15 minutes to go through what Scott's been up to, his team, what they're building. And Scott, I'm so honored you joined me, man. Thanks for being here.
Man, thanks for having me. This is going to be great. Power 15 minutes. Let's go.
Let's go, man. All right. So tell me real quick, dive into the mission of Gravy Stack and what you've been up to.
Yeah. So we're out to help 50 million kids become financially competent, change the world. Money's not being taught in school. And guess what? You can't homework money. You can't play Monopoly and expect a kid to know real estate. Same idea, right? You can't give a kid a blank debit and credit sheet and expect them to budget for the rest of their life. Kids have to make and manage their own money to make it stick. It's like you can't give a kid $10 and to put in the offering plate and expect him to be generous. They have to earn it, right? And so my whole life has been working with millions. We've helped about 6 million kids now with all my companies. And we are starting to get to the heart of this financial literacy problem. And doesn't matter how much money you have as a family, it's tough to pass this stuff on to your kids, the lessons, right? And our big thing is kids need, they need a heritage more than they need an inheritance. It's just hard for families to learn how to teach their kids all the core money skills. And so we're just linking arms and teaching them how to do it. That's the whole goal of Gravy Stack. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are using Gravy Stack with the kiddos. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
They got their little debit cards in the mail. That my two daughters absolutely love the app. They ask to play it all the time. And what's cool about it is, Scott, there's two things that I've always found that are really important to me that are big issues. People always wonder why they don't teach financial literacy in schools. And then you have parents who maybe don't understand financial literacy themselves, trying to then pass on lessons to their kids. So, I think it's so important the work you're doing, and it's so needed because obviously we're seeing it every day as kids grow up and having issues and a poor relationship with money that's leading to a lot of pain and a lot of things that are really difficult for their life. So tell me about some of these lessons that the app teaches kids.
Yeah. So the app is called Gravy Stack. Stack your gravy. It has to sound like a game, even though it's a bank. We have cuss words, by the way. We don't say chores. We don't do allowance. Allowance is basically free money and causing dependency. It's socialism. We don't say entrepreneurship, business, or sales. When kids hear those words, only 5% of kids they come out of the womb ready to make money. They're the entrepreneurial DNA kids. It's only 5%. 95% of kids actually report that they don't want to talk about money because it's the biggest fight in their home.
Whoa.
So parents say things like, money doesn't grow on trees. You know how much this cost? Do you know how hard I worked to get you that? And you just blank, right? Did you not pay that bill again? Kids hear that. They see that stress all the time. Yeah. And parents, when we surveyed 1,000 families when we started this whole thing, and the parents said, we need a roadmap. These are wealthy parents, middle income, low income, high net worth, all across the spectrum. They're like, we don't have a roadmap. I don't know what to teach them when. I'm hoping the schools are doing it, but I know they're not. And the kids said, I don't want to talk about money because it's the biggest fight. And so that's what the app really helps with. And that's what our trainings do. So now we're doing workshops. We're helping families really learn these tools to pass them on. But the app is basically a bank and a game all in one. We're building hundreds and hundreds of games for kids to play to become financially competent. And they're not just games like Monopoly, like we talked about. These are real life challenges. These kids are canceling subscriptions that parents don't want. They're doing eat in versus eat out challenges. There's coupon challenges. There's gigs. My favorite part of the app, and that's the number one thing that the parents and the kids report, that we created something called the home gigs system. And this is our replacement to allowance. And the way that we set it up is you have expectations in the home. These are things the kids do for free. to have your last name. If you want to stay in our house, you got to do these things. And then we have expenses. Parents, they rarely start passing off expenses to their kids. Well, we have it categorized like by age, starting at 6 years old to getting your driver's license. There's 12 categories that you should be passing off for the kids to be planning ahead. And then you give them gigs around the house on top of the free stuff that you can pay them for. And we made it so easy that it's like this auto repeating gig system that you just throw it on the fridge and they do anything to make the funds around the house: sweep, wash windows, make a meal, clean a common area, bathroom, organize a closet, yard work, plan for the next family trip. There's like 50 things they can do. And then we added brain gigs. Brain gigs are watch this article, a PragerU, a TED Talk. Don't eat sugar for a week. Fun things that kids can do to start making a couple bucks. And the reason for that is, Danny, you and I make money with our brains. We create value in the world with our brains, right? Kids need to learn that skill at an early age. And I think it's a critical piece that a lot of parents miss. And so we have action gigs and brain gigs, and you create this system in the home that auto repeats. So it's basically a revolving system that once it's set up, it's very easy for parents. And the kids know exactly how to go earn around the house to help add value to the family.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Here's what happens. 2 weeks into this, kids stop asking for money. They know exactly where to go. They start finding things around the house to do to help the family because they want to earn extra funds to auto save and invest, auto share, and then what's left they can spend on those expenses that you give them: toys, trinkets, tech, extra sports equipment, birthday presents for friends, social outings, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
That's the point of this. And so we're basically creating this system that the best 100 families in the world, which is the talk I gave to the group that you were there. This is what one of the things that the best families in the world that we found all did, but they all had to use whiteboards and checklists and points and sticker systems and all this annoying stuff that they quit doing after 3 months because it was too annoying. And so with us, it's just an automatically repeating gig system, and it's perfect. This is the way to raise kids. Because if they do this, Danny, they learn budgeting. They learn to plan ahead. They learn delayed gratification. They learn trade-offs. They learn the price of goods. They learn wants and needs. They learn all this through this one motive of like giving them expenses and giving them gigs to pay. But if you want to make that system continue for the long term, you got to set it up to repeat, which is what we built.
Amazing. Years ago, I heard a billionaire talk about how he raised his kids and how they would earn $5. They'd have to give away $2, invest $2, and save, and then they could spend $1. So we implemented that system at the home. But you're right. Every Saturday we're sitting there with a log tracking all this stuff. We're putting stuff in different apps. We got the sticker chart on the fridge, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot, dude. It's like a
the
time
gravy
job.
stack just makes it like seamless, and it is really fun. And I can tell you, for my daughters are 6 and 3, and they're starting to get some of these lessons that you talked about: delayed gratification, learning how to earn something, create value. Rather than just depend on a $5 weekly, stipend, which I love that you call that socialism. That's hilarious. It's true. So tell me about some of the, I heard you give a talk recently and you kind of were alluding to some of these biblical principles that that are very important to you and that you talk about on stage. What are some of the biblical financial principles that you think are really important in relation to raising kids?
Oh man. Well, this is a masterclass in itself.
We could do 3 hours.
Yeah. This principle of money, Jesus talks about money more than most anything else in all the words that he says in scripture. You look through Deuteronomy, you look through Proverbs. Financial competency is all throughout scripture, right? The Bible is ancient wisdom in God's word. And so it's actually there to bless our lives. People think Jesus is a get out of jail free card. No, it's not. Like the gospel is a roadmap to life, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And so the Bible is filled with this stuff. I mean, if you go through just like God actually wants to bless his people. He wants us to be good stewards. The parable of the talents. Right. He wants us to work. He wants us to create value. He wants us to be good stewards with his money. You can't give what you don't have. Think about that for a minute. Churches are funded by people being generous. The mission field is funded by people's generosity. Well, you can't give what you don't have. And I think that one of the funniest quotes that I've ever heard is actually a Winston Churchill quote. He says, um, he who is young and not a liberal has no heart, but he who is not old and is not a conservative has no brain. It's one of the funniest quotes I've ever heard him say. But people think that about the gospel a lot.
Yeah.
Young, when you just get going with understanding scripture, you think, oh, money's evil. That's probably the biggest poverty mindset out there. No, the love of money is evil. Making money your idol is where you go wrong. This is why generational transfer of wealth gets ruined. It's the lottery ticket syndrome. 90% of generational wealth or more is gone by the grandkids and great grandkids.
Crazy statistic.
But underneath that statistic
Yeah.
is a nightmare. Divorce, destruction, weak children, addiction, mental health, estrangement of kids. I mean, you want to rip your family's legacy apart? Start giving all your money to your kids and grandkids. What we believe is, again, this having a heritage and values and passing on skills and beliefs. And that's what we train on in our foundations workshop, we're calling them. All the families that did Gravy Stack,
Yeah.
which, by the way, Gravy Stack is an app for everybody, Christian or not. We are
Right.
building the biblical principles along with it for like youth groups and other people, because all this stuff is biblically based. But we're learning about money is a universal need. But the Bible is really clear that like money's not good or bad itself. Money is a tool, and you can use it for benefit. You can use it to help people. You can use it to plan for the future. You can use it to bless, right? That's the point. We're stewards of God's money. It's not ours.
Right.
And so I think it's really important for us to get the right mindsets around money, to be able to really train our kids in the way they should go. And when they're old, they won't turn from it. So my expertise is passing on the skills and passing on the values, passing on the family's like beliefs to the next generation. That's way more important than whatever dollar figure you're going to leave in your bank account at the end of your life. It's way more about what we leave in our kids than to them.
Yeah.
That's the point of this.
Talk to me about this concept of roots versus wings.
Yeah, this is one of our other strategies we train on. Kids need roots and wings. So they need to be there's very clear, the data shows that when kids have a deep understanding of their family line, of the stories of their family, we train on stories and creating principle-based values in the home through story. When kids have a deep understanding of what it means to have their last name, okay, here's what we stand for as a family. Here's what our ancestors went through. Here are the things we care about. Here's what you need to carry on in the rest of your life to have your family name. That's what roots are, right? It's a deep connection to the family line.
Yeah.
Those kids are so much more grounded in the when they go out in the real world than kids that don't have that sense. And so what we train on is kids need roots and wings. You don't just want to stop with the roots, but if you have a great grounding and a great foundation, then they can have wings out in the real world. I mean, nobody wants to have just wings, because just wings is where kids leave, never come back, move halfway around the world, never call, never FaceTime, never come back for holidays and dinners and summers, and they're not going to FaceTime you when something good or bad happens first. You want that, right? Like we want interdependence, not independence. Okay. A lot of parents, you're like, what do you want for your kids? They're just like, I just want them to make it. I want them to be secure. I want them to like get it right. But you don't want full independence. They say that a lot, but what you really want is interdependence. And that's what roots and wings are.
So powerful, man. That's awesome. Tell me we're going to close here, and then I got a special invitation for people watching to join us at a special workshop that you're doing that I'm really excited about, because all this stuff is so in alignment with what I talk about all the time with my clients, with my families I'm serving. And so I love that you're bringing this all together, and you have such a great, clear messaging around all this stuff, Scott. It's incredible. One thing you talked about at the event I was at was this, what your family stands for, and this acronym of FISH. Do you mind sharing that with us? Because just for me, I want to remember what that was. It was great.
Yeah. So one of the things we train on, and this is what we'll do in our free family legacy training.
Okay.
With all of your audience. We'll just do a free training for an hour with everybody online with Q&A. But what we see is, you can't just have a family. Few families do anything, but those that do usually have like a mission statement or a belief statement. They put it on the wall or they have it on a piece of paper and the kids never remember it. You need to have something so simple that your 3-year-old can say it. And so for our family, it's faith, family, and fish. That's what we stand for. That's what it means to be a Donnell. So faith, we honor God, we love God, our family, we care deeply about our family, we show up, and then fish, which stands for fun and adventurous, integrity, service, and value creation, and then hard work. So that's faith, family, fish. My 3-year-old Owen can say it every day at dinner. And so we look for stories around the house to share and watching them do it. We share stories of our heritage and our ancestors. And, my family came across the Oregon Trail. We go all the way back to King Agrippa of Scotland, and just amazing stories that we can be putting in our kids to just give them a last name that really means something. And so, yeah, that's why values are really a tricky thing. I'll put it this way. In 30 or 40 years, your kids and then grandkids, they're not going to be sitting around a campfire talking about whatever mission statement was on your wall. They're going to be sharing stories. Yeah. You want those stories to really be principle-based value stories that carry on your family name. That's the point of this. So yeah, that's our values: faith, family, fish. And we love the water. So fish is just, we're a swimming family. We go boating. We have the summer lake place. Like, I grew up on the ocean. So it just really is like, the image for us is like a cross and a fish. Like we just faith, family, and fish.
It's perfect for the Donalds. That's awesome. So thank you, Scott, for everything you're doing. I'm so grateful that we get a chance to sit and do fun stuff like this. I'm grateful my girls love the app and it's become part of our family and our home and something that we work on. Tell me about this workshop and what we can do for people, because I'm really excited about this. And I want to invite as many people as I can to attend this, because I think it's just going to be so impactful for the families that are part of it. What are we going to be doing at this workshop?
Yep. So my signature training for folks is our core 3 strategies of the best families in the world. So we narrowed it down from thousands and thousands of families that we interviewed. These aren't the wealthiest. Some of them are billionaires, yes, but most of them are just normal folks. But all of them have kids and now grandkids and even great grandkids that blew by the previous generation. They just blew by them in every way, carrying on the values, the beliefs, the skills, the traits, the financial competency, all of it. You just want your kids to blow by you, right? Like, that's the goal, and not be in a shadow. And so that's the training we give. It's basically how not to spoil your kids and create a strong family legacy that lasts, right? Like that'll be our training. It'll be about 45 to 60 minutes. And we'll just give people a ton of value and the tools that they can just immediately start to implement. And then we'll go from there with some Q&A, and I hope everybody joins us. And we'll give a free access. Anyone that joins us on that call, we're going to give them free access to Gravy Stack. So that's a fun gift that we like to give away. But yeah, I hope we can see everybody on that.
Oh, that'd be great. Scott, thanks so much for everything you're doing. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate having you, man.
Thank you again.
Always a pleasure. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so grateful you took time. As always, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to network with incredible entrepreneurs, thought leaders, people that are looking to give back to the community and share. Please take a minute to like the video and share it with somebody you think could really benefit from the information. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.